I think it's pretty clear that Apple didn't bother too much with this update. I wasn't really expecting a big change, but honestly, I was ready to pull the trigger myself if they came out with a much better battery. A better casing would have been nice, but for me that would have been a bonus. A better battery and I would have bought it. But I know I'm probably the minority here, and I appreciate that this may be your first Apple Watch Ultra as well. Or maybe you do care about some of these updates and you'd be silly for me not to respect that. So in this video I'll share 5 reasons why the Watch Ultra 2 is a great choice and 5 reasons why it may not be. For full transparency here, as you can see, I'm not currently using my Apple Watch Ultra since getting this Garmin about 3 months ago. Why I did that is probably a video in itself, but this perspective of having used both extensively actually really made me understand the different things between these two that you might care about. I'm Alex and I do down-to-earth tech videos. Let's look at each of these reasons, starting with the reasons to get the Apple Watch Ultra 2. The number one reason why I got the Watch Ultra last year was the bigger display. Now they've improved the display even more, they improved the brightness of it. I gotta say 3000 nits brightness is no joke really. They are using a little bit more of the display as well, which is great. So if you like to have a lot of data on display, this will be handy for you. The only thing I would say though is that fitness data may not be as complete as some alternatives out there, but if you do end up getting this watch, there are 2 apps that I would recommend you check out if you find yourself needing more data from the fitness app. One app is called Athletic, the other one is called Work Outdoors. I did an entire video about the best Watch Ultra app, so you might want to check that out afterwards. The second reason to get the Watch Ultra 2 is the new ultra wideband chip, or U2 for short. In English it means we're getting better accuracy in location and GPS and better maps experience as a result. It also means you're going to get better interaction with the iPhone and HomePod with precise location now, just like we had with AirTags and the iPhone. Weirdly though, we could do those things with the first generation of the chip on the iPhone, but we couldn't do any of that with the U1 chip inside the Apple Watch Ultra. Which is bizarre, right? But it's Apple. Anyway, we have it now on the Watch Ultra 2. We'll talk about the new S9 chip as well in a bit, but Apple is saying that they're able to cache maps data for even better accuracy on device. So if you rely a lot on maps, especially in high density areas, this might be a good one for you. And the third reason is double tap. I've been looking at double tap for a while, even triple taps. Jokes aside, I can see why this would be useful for a lot of people. The cynic in me tells me that they should have done this for all watches anyway, but apparently this is only possible with the new S9. I know there's a similar accessibility feature that's been there for many years, but you know, to be able to detect this movement with accuracy and speed, it needs the Apple silicon, you know? Of course it does. That cynicism aside, it's a very useful feature, right? For example, if you're cycling or running, I do appreciate how useful this will be for a lot of people. So really, you don't need to slow your arms down when you're running. You can simply double tap to skip music tracks or answer your calls without diverting your attention, you know, staying focused on what you're doing. I do think that's going to be a nice user experience from a comfort perspective as well. And talking about fitness and comfort, these sport bands from Casetify are great. You know, they just launched them. These are the Bounce Watch bands. Perfect really for any workout, fitness activities. These are made with a very sporty design in mind, you know, very light, plenty of ventilation, really nice material as well. It's made from high performance elastomer and it has this super convenient pin and tuck closure here. If you like to sleep with your watch like I do, this is great for that as well. Super easy to use as you can see here. I love the orange color, that's my favorite. They've got this black one here and also a sand version on the website. This is great for using at the gym or outdoors when you're running or going for a bike ride. Now, if you want something a little bit more formal, Casetify also makes this stainless steel band. Also comes in 3 colors, gold, silver and black. I've got the silver one here, which is awesome. It looks great depending on what you're wearing. Comes with an installation kit so you can adjust the size yourself. If it's too large out of the box, you can simply remove the little segments with the tool provided. Fairly easy to do to get the exact size for your wrist. Casetify has even more types of watch bands on the website with a variety of prints and styles too. Fun fact, before I made YouTube videos, I actually got a leather band from Casetify, like for my Series 5 watch at the time, and I still have that. Their products really are top quality, and if you're looking for a protection on the Watch Ultra, Casetify also makes the Impact watch case for the Apple Watch Ultra. Really cool design, but doesn't detract too much from the original Apple Watch design. And the best news for you, Casetify is giving all my viewers 15% off. Just go to my description box in this video and click the link casetify.com/AlexG to get 15% off your order today. If you're watching this from a TV, feel free to pause the video here and scan the QR code as well. And thanks so much Casetify for making this video possible. The fourth reason is having Siri on device. I know what you're thinking, Siri isn't great, but Apple is claiming that they fixed Siri. They've got the Siri's dictation anyway, and is now 25% more accurate. I'm always a little bit skeptical when it comes to Siri, but this alone could be a reason for you to get this new model if you find yourself using dictation a lot for writing notes or responding to text messages. I cannot tell you how many times I swore at Siri, you know, using the watch, not just on the watch actually, but on the iPhone as well, because it doesn't understand me, it doesn't write the text properly. So if this is really really that much better, even I might be interested. And the fifth reason is longevity. Now, this only applies if you have an older Apple Watch right now, or maybe this is your first Apple Watch Ultra and you're not sure whether to get the Watch Ultra 2 or save money and get the previous model. If your budget allows, buying the Watch Ultra 2 in this situation would of course make a lot more sense than buying last year's model. Sure, it looks exactly the same as the previous model, but there's a couple of quality of life upgrades that makes this worth it if this is your first watch or an overdue upgrade. It's a shame that the battery hasn't really improved that much, because that to me would have been a great reason to get the new model as well. I made the case for you to get the Apple Watch Ultra, but here are 5 reasons why you might want to think again and save your hard-earned cash. Starting with the design, I mean the lack thereof. I personally love the design of the Watch Ultra when it first came out. I was all over that. Such a beautiful watch, you can't deny that. This is a beautiful design. But again, if you are on a limited budget, right, this previous model could still be a strong option for you depending on any deals that you might get, or even get the refurbished options. I'm not discounting something else entirely like the Garmin Fenix or the Epix, but more on that shortly. The second reason not to upgrade is the battery. Like I said earlier, right, when they announced that the battery was 36 hours, it was one of those moments for me that, you know, at the Apple event, I just completely switched off. I was like, this is the #1 problem for me, you know? I made several videos about this and how inconsistent the battery has been. Initially, I got a lot of people almost apologizing for Apple and saying that I was wrong. I kept thinking, really? Am I the only person here that has to charge this battery every other day? Well, it turns out I wasn't really alone at all. Once the whole hype about the Watch Ultra died a little bit, lots more people said that they were having the same battery issues. But Apple says if you turn on low power mode, you can now stretch the battery a little bit by an extra 12 hours in comparison with the previous model. So there's a little improvement there, right? The fact that they didn't mention this at the event though tells me that it's not going to be that good, and let's face it, you know, low power mode is probably not going to be that useful if you're trying to use the watch. The next reason is a big one for me, but before I get into that, just a quick reminder to like this video if you're enjoying it, of course, share it with a friend, and if you're new here, check out the channel afterwards as well. And if you like my stuff, it would be awesome if you subscribed. In return, I'll be here at least once a week with a new down-to-earth tech video for you. Well, right now it's been like 5 times a week, but yeah, don't worry about buying anything from me. The best way to support the channel is to like this video and share this video if you like. Reason number 3 is huge for me, and I think this is a big one for a lot of people as well, and that's fitness tracking. And I put sleep tracking as well in this reason, though I appreciate that sleep tracking is a little bit more niche. You know, I care about it, but I appreciate that not many people care about that. For me to get the most out of my Apple Watch Ultra, I had to have at least 3 subscriptions. One was a sleep tracking app called Sleep Cycle. The other 2 were fitness tracking apps, one called Athletic and the other one called Work Outdoors. Brilliant apps, don't get me wrong, but I get all of those things, all of that data that those apps do, and some with my Garmin at no extra cost. I know I'm not comparing apples with apples here, but if fitness tracking is important to you and you don't care too much about the smartwatch features, there are better options out there in my opinion. A great option, and I'm not promoting this at all, but I tried this for a few weeks at one point and I kind of enjoyed it, which was to use both at the same time. The 4th reason not to get this watch is the sensors. From what I can tell, they are exactly the same. To be honest, even though I wasn't expecting a lot from the watch, I was expecting some sort of new sensor to come in. You know, we didn't get the glucose tracking, which I presume would have been a new sensor. Not sure really. But as far as I can tell, there's no glaringly obvious sensor upgrades here to make me want to go and buy a new one. And I know no one really upgrades their watch every year, but it annoys me a little bit that Apple felt like this release was even needed. I'd much rather have waited another year and get something that brings more significant upgrades, or, you know, a new sensor for example. But you know, who am I to criticize the most profitable business on earth, right? It seems people love buying their stuff. And the 5th reason is watchOS 10. A lot of the new features that Apple are boasting about are software related, so will be available on the OG Apple Watch Ultra. We're getting the same safety features as well, nothing new here. Even the SOS alert in case I get lost on the way to the pub is the same. Now let me level with you. It may sound like I'm just party pooping here on the new Watch Ultra 2, or that I'm just hating on Apple. I've been an Apple customer since the late 90s, and I think I owned pretty much every product that they made. And I still love a lot of their products, but I just can't fake some of the stuff, you know? I really think that they let me down sometimes with the sales tactics. It really does to me feel like disingenuous sometimes that certain features are not available on older models, and we get these new products being released without much of a change. They obviously know what they're doing, being the richest company in the world and all that, right? But I certainly don't feel the same way I used to when it comes to some of their products. I do it for you though. If you think I should get one to answer more of your questions, to compare with other stuff, let me know in the comments. Whilst Apple didn't give us much in this update, I'm giving you about 300 videos to choose from for free. I hope to see you soon.